Hey, welcome. My name is Mike Teelmans of Cult Creators. I am this one in the bottom right here, and this is my twin brother, Ricky. So we've been in this game since we were 16, so for the past 19 years, we have been working with digital marketers in digital marketing, in communities, helping coaches, memberships, creators build for cult-like loyalty. So today we're going to talk about how to ethically manipulate members so they engage, they get results, and they stick around for life. So let's get into it. So we don't just want to onboard our new members. We need to indoctrinate our members. See, if you have a membership site, then you are in the results business. You are not in the information business. People can just pay for ChatGPT, $30 a month. They can access and answer any question that they want. People will pay for transformation. We are in the transformation business. So that's why we need to get new members drinking the Kool-Aid so that they do engage, so that they do start to take action, and so that they continually take action long enough to get the results that they paid for, that gives us marketable results, that grows our membership. And so that's why we must be willing to do the brand washing necessary to get them bought in, to get them doing the action steps, to build that behavioral momentum to get them going, right? So that they actually achieve the results. Or else you're just hustling content on the internet. Usually means you get paid once, you get people who are lurkers, they just check it out, consume, and bail. That's no good for MRR or LTV. So we spent the last 7 years studying cults, studying cult brands, studying human psychology. And we wanted to find the secret ingredient into influencing human behavior, right? If we can get them to buy, and more importantly, if we can get them to buy into what we're doing here, then we actually have a chance at building a great business that creates real results. Because if your members don't engage in the content, or if they don't engage in the community, then they're just gonna lurk, they're gonna leave, they'll get the info, they're gonna bail, no good for biz. But if you know how to ethically manipulate behavior, then that's when we get more engagement, right? That engagement starts to make the community almost run itself. So our cult creators spend about an hour a day at most. You get more results. Those results fuel the marketing engine that get you more people in. You get more money from your members, right? You increase that LTV by getting them pay month after month. Also the extra streams of revenue that comes when they do buy in. Then you get more referrals, right? Because people actually get results. So they actually want to tell their friends. They actually want to help this thing grow because they're passionate about it. And so the cult brand washing secret that this whole onboarding, this whole indoctrination process revolves around is he who controls the identity controls the behavior. So your onboarding should include an indoctrination into a new identity. This is the most important thing that you can possibly do for your membership, right? So here's an example. We saw this early days with ClickFunnels. They were probably the first software company to do this effectively. And so they had their funnel hackers, right? They became funnel hackers who hacked funnels and built, right? You're only one funnel away. It was the first software company to really get an identity behind it. Then Russell helped Tooltime Fitness, right? And so she was pretty much failing, struggling to buy groceries. Worked with Russell Brunson, right? They turned it into Lady Boss, this Lady Boss movement. And so built an identity behind it, not what you get, but who you become. And she says that's the reason why we've helped 1.2 million women, why all types of women are getting our brand tattooed on their bodies, why our average supplement buyer stays 8 months, why we go live with a new piece of apparel and it sells out in 18 minutes, why we convert 10% of every single email we collect into a customer, why we have 40,000 members in a paid community, why we have 1.2 million unique engagements in that paid group each month, and why 50% of them are active in this community every single day. Because in the end, it's not about what you achieved, but about who you became along the way, right? And so we did this with Funk. He was going to shut down his membership site. We came in, we renegotiated everything, but the very first thing we did is like, you need an identity. And he's like, alpha, hands down, alpha. And we're like, okay. And so we like to put an adjective in front of it. How do we make it specific to your people, right? Alpha is everywhere, all kinds of alphas, whatever. But over 40 alphas gave him something specifically for men over 40 who want to increase their testosterone. And so as soon as they join the membership, this whole thing is indoctrinating them on becoming an over 40 alpha. And so soon we had over 3,000 men in the community embodying this identity, conforming to what it means to be an over 40 alpha, which we get to make up, right? He who controls the identity controls the behavior. And so the transformations, they came in like crazy, right? We offered lifetime access, and we just had so many people bragging about becoming a lifer. They started buying all the other things Funk put out, his new programs, the resistance bands, he now has coffee, right? But we scaled this to $1.2 million in the next 18 months. And then we saw Brucey here. He did the tattoo Over 40 Brotherhood. After just 112 days in the program, he went from brand new to branded. That's the power of identity. And so when you can get members out of their own way, you generate a nasty amount of transformations and social proof that feeds the marketing, right? So this is just a scroll. Funk will just scroll whenever he has somebody that's thinking about joining the membership. Just send them this page, this video. And so that's what happens when you conform their identity to somebody who can actually get the results. And so how do we do that is over this 3-step indoctrination process called the MRR model: Manifesto, Rituals, and Rewards. So first step is a manifesto. So we need to indoctrinate them into this new identity. You got to have a new identity. And then as soon as they join the membership, everything you do should be about getting them to embody this new identity, right? And so a manifesto has been used forever. All of the big cult brands have one. Nike has one for every single department that they do, right? So we have We Are the Lovers, We Are the Art Directors Club, right? Levi's with their Go Forth, talking about how they are the new American pioneer. You're not just buying Levi's jeans, you are becoming the new American pioneer, right? And so we wrote one for Funk, the new wave of man, right? The over 40 alpha is this new wave of man. And so we wrote up something sweet, really talked about like, well, what does it mean to be an over 40 alpha? What do we believe? What do we do? Who are we not and will never be? What is that line in the sand that says, this is the vision, this is what we believe, this is what we're fighting for, this is what we're fighting against? And then he turned it into a badass video. You can see Levi's, they don't just sell jeans, they sell heritage. They sell old-fashioned durability. They sell an American ideal. It's never about the product, right? Even in membership site, it's not selling the features. It's not selling the benefits. No one cares about the 300 hours of content you have. They care about the transformation. What do they get? What will this allow them to do? And so we turn that into an emotional piece of writing because emotion equals action. And Levi's still going strong, $9 billion last year. And so once we have that manifesto, right? Create the new identity, get them bought in with this emotional piece of writing, something to believe in, something to buy into. Then the second part of that is rituals. So we need to indoctrinate them into the rituals of the identity. So what is it that we do as this tribe? And so surfers surf, runners run, accountants count. There's rituals literally everywhere. Every in-group, every tribe, every social group has their own rituals. So we get to make up our own. Rituals turn ordinary actions into symbolic acts of purpose, right? Your members are more likely to take action and conform to this group behavior, which then makes them feel like they're one of us. And so they continue to engage, they continue to do the results, they continue to do the things they need to do to get the results, right? And so, of course, your membership site is not just content. There are things that they have to do along the way. There's processes, there's outcomes. And with human nature, it's just a matter of time before it's too hard, it's too scary, right? The brain doesn't like change, it likes comfort, it likes safety. And that's why we indoctrinate them into this new identity, right? This over 40 alpha, this lady boss, this cult creator, with the kind of identity that can get the job done, that does do the hard stuff. And so we just turn these outcomes into rituals of the identity. So shared rituals, not only will they help them actually do the things they need to do, right? If you're helping them become more confident on video, if they're help scale a YouTube channel, you're gonna have to make videos. That is a big part of it. So then of course, if you're a videographer or whatever, then you make videos. That is a ritual of the videographer tribe, whatever. And so not only will it help get the results, it will get them out of their own way and actually do the hard things, but it is such a great unifier. And so shared rituals unify the tribe and make it harder to cancel, because studies have proven when someone sees another one specifically when it's somebody like themselves, a like-minded person, when they see another one performing a similar act, a shared ritual, there's mirror neurons that happen, right? There's neurons in our brain that connect with their brain, do the same thing, create this mirroring, and then it starts to create this dopamine, the same thing that you get from cuddles and sex. And so we can have that in our group. And it's super powerful because if you're getting them to feel these things, if you're getting them bought in at that level and connecting with the other members, then rituals equal retention, right? It's a lot harder to cancel. It feels like you're losing a piece of yourself. And so this is what, because members feel like this is where they belong, that's a big thing. We have to build for belonging. And by doing that, we call in a like-minded group of people, we strap on a new identity, we rally them behind who we are and what we do. We turn that what we do into rituals, right? This is what we do. And that increases that us versus them. And when there's that us versus them, there's retention. People always prefer their in-groups. And so Funk had some rituals. Well, Funk had workouts, eat. And so we turned them into rituals of the over 40 alpha. And so we had birthday burpees, right? We like to have rituals that are not only on the product side, the membership side, the things that they have to do to get the results, but then also look at the social side of things, right? Birthday burpees, they do it once a year. That's not going to get them to lose weight, but it is a social ritual that, hey, it's your birthday. This is what an over 40 alpha does. If you're turning 62, you're doing 62 burpees today. But then alpha dinners, of course, it's like you have to eat a certain way. Clean carbs, no alcohol, no estrogenic foods. But then you turn that into over 40 alphas. They eat an alpha plate. They eat an alpha dinner. They eat alpha lunches. They have alpha breakfasts. And so we shared what that is. We even had cookbooks to show this is how you do it, right? Make it easy for them to perform the actions, but then really wrap it around a ritual. And then the more you share it, the more they share it. The more everyone is sharing it, mirroring kicks in and the group self-governs. That's the power of rituals. And then, of course, even part of rituals is that shared verbiage. So a ritual is like, we would always get them to do a sweaty selfie, and we would always do our shared signature sign-off, that hashtag GID, get it done. And so people will just always post, get it done. It's a ritual. You're done your workout, GID, I got it done. And so you can create these little rituals along the way, and should, because it will help them get the results and it unifies your tribe. Then number 3, once you've got that manifesto, once you've got them doing those rituals, sharing the rituals, running the group itself, then it's rewards, right? The milestones along the way. We want to use incentives to keep them coming back for more. We really need to override their human behavior because humans are just so bad at continuing to do what's good for them. The brain loves to self-sabotage because it loves to keep us safe. And so we have to override these things. We have to brand wash them because there's no growth in safety. So we use rewards. So we create rewards at different milestones in the membership, right? These are mini rewards that create these addictive dopamine hitters. And so when the brain hits dopamine, right, when it has things that create dopamine, that's the brain giving it like a cookie. That's a treat. That's why humans have advanced the way that we have, is because dopamine allows us to keep searching, to keep testing new things, keep trying, keep building, right? Keep exploring. And so when we set goals, dopamine. When we're close to reaching goals, dopamine. And so they'll work harder when they're nearing a goal, nearing a reward, because dopamine is firing. And so that's what gets them progressing, posting, especially when you have something that's so repetitive, like, hey, you got to work out every day, you got to eat every day. It's like, well, I know. After like 4 months, then it's like, I know what to do. But not the slide I thought. But if you do it right, these rewards become a signal of their increased status along the way, right? So not only will it have them coming back for more and continuing the behavioral momentum that we want, continuing doing the behavior, continue going through the motions that our membership site is getting them to do, getting the results. But by having these milestones, it signals something that increases their status, right? If we can increase their status along the way, I'm 6 months in, so my status is higher than somebody who is 1 month in, right? But not only that, if we can give them a way to signal and show and embody that they're a higher status, then that's super good for business because people will do more for status than they will for money. So an increase in social status also means they have more to lose. and it makes it harder to cancel. We love to make our memberships harder to cancel. And so that's why with Funk, we gave a t-shirt away every 3 months in the first year. So again, it's just work out every day, eat every day. Like fitness, there's only so many ways to throw a dumbbell around. And so that's why we created a 1 year to alpha program. So we had the identity, created an identity shift to say after 1 year, it's that 1 year to alpha challenge. And so you're going to get 12 months of programming. We're going to mix it up a little bit. But every 3 months, you're going to earn a shirt. And it's kind of like the karate, right? We start with the white and we get all the way to black. We even put their name on the back of the 12-month one. And so we had these milestones and we rewarded the milestones. At month 3, you're going to get this one. At month 6, you're getting the gray one. I will not stop. I will not be stopped. At month 9, stronger today, better than yesterday, right? So we even have our philosophy of the Over 40 Alpha embedded into these t-shirts. So they are a walking representation of the identity. And as we know, clothing is one of the best ways to signal what we believe, who we are, what our identities are. So that's why we want to make sure our merch, our rewards, everything we do is about embodying the identity. And so everything was about becoming an Over 40 Alpha. The shirts represented the beliefs of the Over 40 Alpha. They represented the status of the Over 40 Alpha, represented where they were in the journey of the Over 40 Alpha. And so that is the model. That's the MRR model. That's how we indoctrinate people. To recap, you have to build a new identity because all behavior stems from the identities we hold. If we give them a new identity, we get to dictate the behavior. And then once we have that identity, we have to teach them, what does it mean to be that identity? What does that identity do? What do we think? What is the vision of where we're going? What is the philosophy? What is the belief system that this identity holds, right? We have to brand wash them every single day into becoming this thing. So we use a manifesto, create emotion, gets them bought in on what we're doing. Then we create the rituals that says, this is what we do, right? Every day, every week, every year. You just tell them what is expected of them. As a leader, you share the rituals in the membership, which creates mirroring. Then they start to share it. They start to embody it. The more people doing it, the more people start doing it. It's like the popcorn effect. And then we create these rewards along the way so that we drag them through, almost forcing them to get the results that they signed up for. Because again, if we don't, they're going to just self-sabotage. They're going to fall off. They're going to get busy. We can't have that because then we don't get the results. They don't get the results. Nobody wins. And so that's the MRR indoctrination process. It is extremely effective. Use it for good. But these are just 3 of the 27 brand washing secrets, right? After we ran up Funk's membership to 1.2 million in 18 months, he said, we got that 2 Kamala Cup award. And he's like, you have to document everything that you did. This needs to be a book. This needs to be out for all membership site owners. And so we flew to Colombia. We spent months writing this thing, documenting everything we did. And then we put it in order. So there's 11 secrets on tribe attraction, right? How do we build the brand? How do we build the message and the mission so that people want to join? Then the next 6 are what we talked about here, right? And so that is about how do we set up the product? How do we set up the indoctrination? How do we set up the milestones? How do we set up the membership site to tickle all of these things to get them bought in, get them drinking the Kool-Aid? Then the final 10 are about the community. We call it cult bonding. And so there's 10 psychological principles there that get them chemically addicted to the membership, to the community, to each other, to this identity, right? And so those are the 27 brand washing secrets. And since Kate made us give it away for free, then all you got to do is go to cultcreators.com/brand washing, and you can get that for free. So hope that was good. Hope you got something out of that. And keep crushing it, right? Keep building that membership site because at the end of the day, in a world of AI, all that is left is community. We are wired to belong to tribes of like-minded people. So community is going to be the only thing left. It's just going to get more and more popular. So make sure your membership site is community-based, it's identity-based, it's transformation-based, and you're going to crush it. So let's get it.